Today's topic is how we Indians in America can give back to America. Hello, everyone. It's good to be with you once again. Today, I have with me Ashok Boghani, IIT, MIT, top-notch management consulting firm, and now in retirement, doing amazing things, which he will tell us about. And he has an interesting thing to tell us, which is different from this towards the end. Over to you, Ashok.
Thank you, Subodh, and thank you for your kind words. I don't know about fantastic things, but I will tell you what I'm up to. So one of the points I wanted to make was that for us Indians, and of course for other immigrants, giving back to your home country when at a retirement age, for example, is a wonderful thing to do. That we owe a lot to our home country, of course. But I want to make a point that we also owe a lot to America and many of the communities within where we live, because there are lots of people here who are in need for our assistance, people who have not been as fortunate as we have been in our lifetime. And that's the first point I wanted to make. The second point is that it doesn't have to be just financial support. That many of us, most of us, I would think, have some expertise which we have developed over our lifetimes. And it will be very interesting to see if we can give back to that expertise, because in some ways it's even more powerful than just giving financial support. And the third thing I want to point out is that there are institutions in America who allow you to do that. One which comes to my mind is Executive Service Corps, ESC, which I found out about when I retired about 10 years ago. And what they do is they have a pool of experts like us, pro bono experts, and they provide them free of charge or very nominal charge to nonprofits. Because as you know, that nonprofits are the heartbeat of this country. There are so many of them with all different causes. And many often they're developed by people with grandiose vision and well-meaning visions, but they are not run very well. They need help. And we can provide that kind of help in terms of pro bono consulting. So that's the point I wanted to make today.
Yeah, Ashok, let me stop you there. I am involved in one such effort in Washington, D.C., being run by a doctor at Harvard University. And she was a doctor, and she's seeing too many Black kids who come for physical treatment, but actually they need much more. And she's trying to set up an organization to help those kids. And I have been sort of helping her, not as much as she would like and not as much as I would like. But yes, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So, in terms of helping people, well, I was in Boston. I was with ESC of Boston or New England. And then I was on the board of directors. And then I was actually chairman of the board for a couple of years. And we used to provide service to 50, 70 nonprofits per year with expertise. So just a couple of examples. One was with a well-known organization called Metco, which provides services in the Boston area. This bus, they take kids from inner city by bus to schools in suburbia like Lexington and others, which are much better schools than what was happening in Roxbury. And those kids end up getting a great start in their education because of going to those suburban schools. And when I did the assignments, I had a chance to talk to some of them, some of the alumni. And it was really heartening to see that they would say, hey, I would not have become a doctor, I would not have become an engineer if it were not for a Metco program.
Yeah.
Just what you were saying, Subodh, that there are people like that who are around. And what my expertise is in strategic planning. So I try to make them more ambitious and help them reach that ambition that, hey, right now you're serving so many people. In the future, you might be serving twice as many. How can we get there? Let's figure out how to get there.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Another one was for an organization in Lynn, in Boston area, which was catering to women and infants mostly from immigrant communities. because Lynn, I don't know if you know the history, but it has attracted lots of immigrants in the past
Mhm.
because of companies like General Electrics and others. And it was, again, very heartening to see how the kids get a good start right from beginning. And eventually they end up becoming good citizens instead of getting up into a gang
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And when now I've moved in Los Angeles, very similar situation. I'm right now working on a project which is in one of the most violent areas of Los Angeles called Watts.
Yes. Very
And
famous.
you might remember Watts,
Yes, I
Rodney
remember.
Watts,
Yeah.
Rodney King and all.
Yes.
So somebody actually from Boston area, one police officer who was assigned to duty in Watts when he moved to Los Angeles, figured that instead of this antagonistic situation they have with the kids there, how about them helping kids?
Yeah.
So he managed to get some funding. And what the funding does is take these kids from third grade onward and put them into private Catholic schools, which don't cost as much as other private schools, and get them a good grounding of education right up to end of high school. And they support them to put them through college. Um, Great idea. And also, each kid has a mentor, and the mentor is a Los Angeles police officer from police department. Now,
Right.
just think of it,
Yeah.
that they both get different view of each other. The police figure out that these kids are not just hoodlums. They are decent people who, just given opportunity, can succeed in life. And those
So
kids,
Ashok is so similar to what is the experience in this NGO that I'm working with. It
right?
has two retired police officers
That's
who say
wonderful.
that, listen, we get sick and tired of arresting these kids.
Yes.
It's the same kids again and again.
Yeah.
Why the heck can we not do something that they don't do these things? We need to get them early. We can't keep filling our jails with these kids.
It's a very simple idea,
Yeah.
but to implement that and effectively. And so, what my appeal to our Indian community and of course other immigrant communities is that please think of giving back to this country,
Yeah.
because this country, although it is supposed to be a rich country, it has pockets of dire poverty and kids and others looking for help, and we can be of help to them, and that would make a big difference in what this country is doing.
Yeah, I agree with you fully because in Washington, D.C., we see this all the time. I'll tell you a
Yeah.
story. A couple of years ago, there was a part of Washington, D.C. that was newly renovated. And I had a meeting in an office there with a couple of other people. And after the meeting, we thought, where shall we have our huddle after the meeting? So there was a
Mm.
nearby McDonald's. We went there. Now, this is newly renovated. It's important to keep in mind. So it's about 5:30 in the evening. And as we parked our cars, there are a couple of kids hanging around there. Not couple, three, four, five kids hanging around there. And we are curious enough to ask, what are these kids doing here? So we asked them. They say, we are hungry. And so we say, okay, fine, we'll take you inside to eat.
Yeah.
And the staff there know these kids. They are hungry every day. And they are, they like the kid I took to the place, the staff serving there told the kid, please thank the gentleman.
Yeah.
Don't forget. So they're there every day. They're hungry.
Right.
Right? There's no issue about it. They're just bloody hungry. There's no place because, in summer, the schools are closed and the school lunch is gone and there's no money to eat food at home. So they just troll McDonald's.
Unbelievable, isn't it? And over
Yeah.
here, I mean, in Boston area and in Washington, but Los Angeles has an enormous homeless problem.
Yeah.
Because weather here is nice, so they can live outside for the entire season, and there are people helping to figuring out how to put these homeless people into some decent housing.
Yeah.
So there are pockets of these.
True. Well, can you tell us one of your success stories so that we don't just hear theory, but one of your practical success stories, which I'm sure you have many. Let's hear one.
Sure. So I think the story probably could be a Metco,
Yeah.
which has been around for more than 50 years now. And it was in need of help. And it was in need in the sense that the executive director had left, and the chairman of the board was doing that job, and he wasn't doing a great job. He was chairman of the board, and they were trying to figure out what exactly to do in the next coming 5-10 years, starting from finding a new person to run the organization. And in there, they needed some sort of a strategy about exactly where the funding is going to come from, exactly what the processes are going to be, how do they select kids, how do they make sure that they receive a good welcome in some of these societies. And I'll tell you one thing, it was interesting that some of the parents who were not very welcoming in cities like Lexington were Indian parents
Yes.
and Chinese parents, and they're saying that we have worked hard to have a house in this city, and why are these kids coming here? And my point to them was, first of all, it doesn't cost you anything. It's a state-run program. The money is coming from somewhere else. It's not being charged to Lexington. And please be kind to these guys. Our kids had great education, and these kids don't have that opportunity. So it's not going to be taking food out of your table and giving it to them. Just share something. So that would be my appeal to them. Anyway, in the end, they did manage to get a very dynamic executive director, and they're running it quite well now. And some of the points we made in terms of how they should run it are being implemented. So I think that was one of the good programs, in my
Okay.
opinion.
And do you know any individual persons who benefited from such programs whom you are in touch with, or you can tell us about, so that we put a human face to this?
Yeah, again, I don't have any specific person in mind right now, but yeah, I talked to quite a few of them. And the same thing happens here in Watts, which I'm doing right now. That I talked to some of the kids, I've talked to some of the alumni and the mothers. And one of the kids said that they had to move from Watts to some other community. I said, why? Because my brother did a job in
Yeah.
Watts,
Yeah.
and his life was in danger.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of situation kids are in very
Yeah.
often.
Yeah. 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 No.
It's we live in our quiet, nice, peaceful suburbs,
Yeah.
feeling very safe.
Yeah.
Over there, they can have a. And one kid said that I'm glad that I can do all these things on Zoom, because if I had to walk over to the
Yeah.
office of
Yeah.
this organization,
Mm-hmm.
some other gang members will see me,
Mm-hmm.
and I would be in trouble.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of situation which they live with.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that you have actually been so helpful to the people who actually do desperately need help. There is just no
Yeah.
way around it. They do desperately need help. And no matter what, the help givers also need management, strategic, all these kinds of skills,
Yes.
which we have and which money can't buy. Money can't buy those
Money
skills.
can't buy.
Money can't buy.
And it's enormously satisfying,
Yeah.
Subodh. I mean, I worked with the clients. I was a consultant.
Yeah.
But this is a particularly good, good thing. It
Yeah.
makes you
Wonderful.
sleep well
Okay.
at night.
All right. Great. Now tell us about the other interesting and amazing
Okay.
thing you do.
Right. So the other interesting thing I thought of is that, so some of you, and especially people who are on Facebook, would know that I am an amateur photographer, and I love to take pictures of nature. I'm a nature lover. And that directly leads me to the other area where I provide this kind of help, is with the conservation organizations, because I think it's enormously important, even more important now than it was 10 years ago, that we help these organizations thrive so they can have a good future. So over in Boston, I worked with Middlesex Fells, which many of you might know. It's one of the oldest urban open lands where you can hike around and walk around.
Mm-hmm.
There was Emerald Necklace, which
Yeah.
is go through the Commonwealth Avenue and continues.
Right.
And over here, I worked with the Bird Watching Society and with the local garden. But that again, there is selfish motivation that I can find good subjects to take pictures of. But
Well, it's a win-win, you know. You
it's a
get
win-win
something, they get
situation.
something. Yeah, it should be win-win, no?
Right.
Should be win-win. Okay.
So
Well,
anyway,
you have any final words for the viewers?
yeah, I mean, if you are interested in this stuff, of course, feel free to contact me. And otherwise, also look up esc.org.
Yeah.
In it, ESC has lots of chapters, and maybe there's a chapter near you where you can sign up as a consultant. And I think you'll find it very helpful.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let's say bye to the viewers. Bye-bye, everybody. This is
All
all for
right.
today. I'll be back again with another distinguished guest, but this is it for today. Bye-bye.